Hello and welcome to Toasty's 2 Cents, the series where I play games off camera and then review them in a short video. Today we're going to be talking about Borderlands 2. It's an old one, I know, but I finally got around to playing it, and long story short, fantastic. Gotta be one of the best games I have ever played, period, full stop. Just to give you the background knowledge on my experience with the Borderlands franchise, I actually started off with the third game. I know that's a sin, I should go to jail for that, but listen, you gotta believe me, I thought it would be fine to just start with the third game and it would make sense, and for the most part it did, but certain things, I mean, given the storyline of everything, I should have started from the beginning, but I just didn't know the franchise. So I started with 3, I had an amazing time, I loved it, and after that I played Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which is the spin-off game, and I had a great time with that too. So then I decided, you know what, I'm going to play every game in the franchise, and we're going to start from the beginning so I can get the full experience. So I went back to the original Borderlands, played that a long time ago, had a good time, and that brings us to recently, when I got around to playing Borderlands 2 on my PC. So let's just get started with the pros here. Storyline, I've heard a lot of people say that they don't like the storyline or whatever, or they think the humor is not really their thing. For me, it's perfect. The storyline is really interesting, and playing through it is awesome. The different characters and all of them interacting together, I think it's really cool. I really like it. Plus the kind of humor that the game has, the sense of humor it comes with is I just really love and really find funny. I guess it depends on the person whether or not you find it funny or not. I find it really funny. It might be the funniest game franchise I've ever really played. I don't know if there's anything funnier that I can think of off the top of my head. From a storyline perspective, they did a great job with it, but I think Borderlands 2 on its own, that has the best story out of any of the games in the franchise. It has a really good storyline, a great villain with Handsome Jack, and a build up to fighting him, and all the stuff that happens is really intriguing. It kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat. Really liked it. Another thing that to bring up with pretty much any of the Borderlands games, but Borderlands 2 especially, is the art style it has. It has kind of it kind of looks like it came out of a comic book, but 3D, but a little better quality than a comic book. It kind of has a really unique art style to it that I haven't seen in any other game personally. It's really cool. A lot of games kind of have a similar vibe to them as far as the art style goes, but I think Borderlands is pretty unique. The other compliments I have to give about Borderlands in general, but Borderlands 2 in specific, is the respawn system, because I have a skill issue. You all know that. I'm not great at video games. I like to say I'm good. I'm not that good. Okay, I'm good enough to get by, basically. Borderlands has probably the best respawn system in any... Why the fuck is Siri talking to... Siri tried to message someone on my watch. I need to disable that. Anyhow, Borderlands 2 has probably the best respawn system in any game I've played. Because basically, if you don't know how it works, it is when you lose all your health and all your shield is depleted, you go down into the fight for your life mode, where you shoot someone, and if you kill someone before the fight for your life runs out, then you get to revive, and it gives you a certain amount of health back. I think that is amazing, because I definitely just die a lot in these games. I'm not that good where I'm I need the fight for your life, basically. I enter that a lot, and I end up being able to save myself. Of course, it can be frustrating when you can't get out of the fight for your life, when you think you should have been able to, but I mean, honestly, overall, it's a net positive, because you can basically save yourself from having to respawn. And that ties into the respawn system, which is also great. I don't think it's impossible to not be able to respawn and have to reset anywhere. It basically takes a certain fraction of your money. It really depends. How much money it takes from you depends on how much you happen to have. I think it just takes a certain percentage to pay for the respawn, and then you just go back to the last checkpoint, and there's a lot of checkpoints. So I've never felt like a checkpoint was way too far away. I think all the checkpoints are plentiful enough where I thought it was just fine. It was very good. The game basically makes it so you can die and retry as many times as you need to, basically, in order to get a certain level or a certain mission correct, and I think that's awesome. As someone who's not a super talented gamer per se, I found it very awesome to be able to just kind of respawn whenever I need to. It doesn't matter how many times I die. I could die 50 times, and I probably won't even lose all my money or come close to doing that. And one more compliment I'm going to give the game is the fact that there's no fall damage. I just love that I could be on a giant hundreds of feet tall building, and I can just jump off and just walk away like it's nothing. I think that's great. I don't know, it's just really convenient, so you don't have to it doesn't really matter too much if you don't want to walk down the stairs or do whatever, go down a ladder. you can literally just jump off a building, and I think that's really hype. Yeah, that's just another thing, but like, it's a small thing, but the small things in life, okay, make a difference, okay? It's a really helpful thing at times. Okay, so I don't really have any major complaints, but there are a couple things in the game that I would consider to be cons, and I'm gonna go through those right now. Here's the first thing. This is kind of like a PC thing, and it's also a very specific issue that most people probably won't encounter. If you don't know, I play on like a giant TV. I have a whole ass TV on my desk, and it doubles as like a TV I use to like watch TV shows and movies and stuff, but I also use it to play video games. So when I'm sitting at my desk and I need to like play a video game, I don't have it on like the full TV. I use like windowed mode on a certain resolution to make the game smaller. Because if I'm like playing on like a 50-inch TV and I'm like sitting a foot away from it, it's gonna look weird, so I have to make it smaller. So I play in windowed mode. But when you do windowed mode with Borderlands 2, the cursor doesn't lock into the game, so the cursor flies off of the game all the time, and it'll like click outside of like the window. And that is a thing that like with most games, pretty much every game, like the cursor will lock into the game so it can't leave, and that problem is just like completely eliminated. But for whatever reason, Borderlands 2 does not have that, and that's kind of a problem at times. I know it's not exclusive to Borderlands 2, but it's like certain games, it's like the first time I had ever encountered the issue, but like the cursor doesn't want to lock in the application, and I didn't want to install a third-party thing and like try to figure it out, so I just kind of sucked it up. It definitely cost me several lives where I would have been able to like survive if I hadn't like clicked out of the window by accident when I was trying to shoot someone in the sky. It normally happens when I'm like shooting a rack or something in the sky and my cursor goes up off the screen and then I die because of it. It happens a lot. And that can be annoying, but it wasn't like so bad that it was like making me super frustrated, but it was just like an occasional nuisance, you know, like a thorn in my side. Okay, again, I'm kind of picking hairs here with like the really small like complaints, but I'm just gonna go through a list here. First of all, there are certain boss fights in like certain areas where it's way too easy to fall off the map. Specifically when I was fighting Flint, one of like the earlier bosses, it was really easy to just accidentally fall off that tower thing and have to climb all the way back up. The good thing is that it didn't reset the boss fight in that case, which was nice. However, there was the Wilhelm boss fight where he would like kind of knock you off the map and reset the whole fight. To be fair, I think that one I can kind of give a pass just because like it's part of the strategy. Don't let Wilhelm throw you off the map into the Shadow Realm. You know, that's fine, I guess. It was annoying, but like whatever. Specifically with the Flint boss fight though, although it didn't reset the fight when you fell off, it still like made you fall off the tower way too easily, and then you'd have to like climb all the way back up. And that happened with a couple different areas as well. But another thing, I could have sworn in like the newer games that allies could revive you, like when like Mordecai or Lilith or someone fights with you, that they could revive you. I don't know if this is like a different game and I'm just like remembering incorrectly, but I could have sworn in like Borderlands 3 and in Tiny Tina's that was a thing. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but I think that allies should be able to revive you. If you're like in a fight for your life and Lilith is right next to me fighting, she should be able to just kind of kneel down and like revive me. That should be a thing. That feels really obvious, but I guess not. Especially since like the time you're fighting with allies is very minimal in the grand scheme of things. I think it'd be a totally fair thing to add. It wouldn't be like too easy if allies could revive you. You know, because you're not fighting with allies for the majority of the time, so it's fine. Circling back to the Wilhelm boss fight, there are no vending machines to refill your ammo before that. You have to, like, teleport out or, like, walk all the way back if you want to go fill your ammo. By the time I pulled up to that fight, I was out of ammo. I was fucked. I couldn't do it until I had, like, to leave and get ammo. You know, that was ridiculous. I'll just throw that out there. There should be vending machines in front of every boss fight within a reasonable distance, but for Wilhelm, it was not a thing. But, again, small thing I'm going to complain about there, but it matters, okay? It matters to me. Like, it's, like, really windy outside. I don't know if, like, a hurricane is going to pull up or a tornado, but if you hear, like, wind, that's why. I might get sucked into a tornado. I won't be in Kansas anymore. It'd be like fucking Wizard of Oz. I don't live in Kansas, but you know what I mean. I was trying to make a reference and it fell flat. Don't unsubscribe, please, no. Okay, so the mechanic for dropping items is kind of willy-nilly in the sense that when you drop an item, it kind of just goes nuts. It's like it has no gravity, or like it's covered in like butter or something, and it just slides and like flies all over the place. You'd think that wouldn't really be a problem because you want the item to get as far away from you as possible so you don't pick it up again by mistake if you drop it on purpose, right? Well, here's two things. One thing is that I multiple times dropped a weapon off the map by accident, or I killed an enemy and they dropped a weapon, but before I could pick up the weapon bounced like a goddamn bouncy ball, like right off the map before I could chase it down. The most notable case for me was when I was doing a side quest where I had to like drop shields into like a shredder thing. I forgot the name of the quest. Was it Overlook, the name of the fucking place where that quest was? You know, the town? Point being, there was a quest where I had to drop shields into a shredder, and it was really hard to do that because the way the items drop is all like chaotic. So I went to drop a shield and it kind of just bounced all the way off the map from that shredder and I couldn't catch it in time, so that was annoying. It's just, I don't know, once you figure out how to drop items properly, it's easier to manage that, but I feel like dropping items should be a little less chaotic if there's going to be like actual quests that rely on you dropping items into a very specific area. Another small thing, there was like I don't know if this is a spoiler. The game's like 10 years old. I'm just spoiling what one of the bosses happens to be. Skip ahead like 20 seconds if you don't want to know what the name of the boss is. But the Bloodwing boss fight, basically the game would crash during the cutscene right before it. It only happens on like newer devices, I think, and that's why it happened. I was able to fix it pretty easily by capping my FPS at 30 and then turning it back for the fight, but again, that's just another small thing where I was like, yeah, that was kind of annoying. I don't know why. Like, newer computers wouldn't be able to handle the graphics there while the older ones can. It's a weird thing that happens. Another thing that has to do with my skill issue, the badass constructors are overpowered. I'm just gonna throw that out there. They are too fucking strong. Okay, they nuke you so fast and like so... I mean, I don't know, if you get hit by a nuke or even a laser, you're toast. Like, you're actually getting your ass cooked like fucking street meat. You are done. Like, you are dead and buried 6 feet under. Like, you better start fucking writing your will if you even see a badass constructor, because you're done. Like, oh my god, those things are so overpowered, and I feel like they're too strong. I feel like there's just not enough of a window to actually attack them before they start going, like, hog wild again and start, like, attacking you with the missiles and the nukes and the lasers. I don't know, it's just... I'm just not good at the game, I guess. I don't know. To be fair, I don't think I'm bad at the game, but I mean, those are just really strong. So yeah, that's kind of an overview of what I liked and didn't like about Borderlands 2. As far as comparing it to the other games in the franchise, I think that this is the best Borderlands game there is. I think that all of them that I've played Borderlands 3 and Tiny Tina, and the original Borderlands as well, and I thought all of those were very enjoyable. None of them were bad. But Borderlands 2 is just next level because, like, the gameplay is great, the storyline is great, you know, everything's just great. There's nothing to complain about. I mean, it's just a fantastic game, very well done in every capacity. It is the best that Borderlands has to offer, though I do think it is absolutely worth playing all three games, 1, 2, and 3, just play them through in order, and it is enjoyable. I do think that the newer games offer, like, quality of life changes to, like, the... like gameplay and stuff that make it a little better in certain ways, such as like when you go up to a vending machine in like Borderlands 3 or Tiny Tina's, you can basically click a button to buy all the ammo you need to refill and all the health you need from the other one, and you don't have to like click into the vending machine if you don't want to like click on all the individual ammo types. I think that is very helpful. Also, they implemented mechanics where like you automatically pick up ammo without having to click a button for it. Same with money. And so in the newer games, if you happened to like leave behind a rare item or like even an uncommon item, the game would automatically pick it up for you and put it in like a little box in Sanctuary or whatever the hub is in Tiny Tina's, and you'd be able to go pick up that item if you left it behind by accident or you didn't have storage for it. I think that was a really good quality of life change as well that made it easier to like kind of loot and stuff, so there was like less pressure and you definitely got more items overall. And those are changes that the first two games don't have, and they would have been better if they had those changes sooner, but honestly, even with that considered, Borderlands 2 is the best in the franchise, in my opinion. Editing Toasty here, it occurs to me that I never gave this like a rating out of 100 when I was recording it initially, so I'm just gonna say right now, 96% out of 100. That's my rating. It's just fantastic. This is one of the best games I've ever played. Yeah, back to present Toasty, I guess. It is just fantastic, and it is definitely worth a play for anybody. I think that all three games are worth playing. Just go beginning to end, first, second, third. I'm about to play the pre-sequel, actually. That's next up. I'm going to play it like maybe in a few weeks. I'll start it and see how it is. But I look forward to that for sure because like the three main installments are all fantastic games, and I would absolutely recommend them. Well, yeah, that's Toasty's 2 cents. Like, subscribe, and keep vibing.